Good evening. Today's sermon is about discrimination. Discrimination seems to be floating around a lot these days on race and religion and color and origin and species and whatever else you can think of. I will have to say, within my 20 some years of living, I've been discriminated on a lot by a lot of people. It is unfair. This is true. However, people have to just tell you that it's tolerable. We don't have to accept it, but it's tolerable. Well, tolerable can mean many different things. And tolerable to me, in my book, is very unorthodox, very discriminatory, matter of fact. And the discrimination needs to stop. The discrimination needs to end. I, as a pastor, know that discrimination is very unfair and it's not in the best interest for anybody or everybody to discriminate, because there are going to be a lot of different people out there. There's going to be blacks, there's going to be whites, there's going to be Latinos, there's going to be different origins, there's going to be different religions, there's going to be different this or that or whatever, and people just need to learn to accept it and not tolerate it nor discriminate on it. There's a story that I have about a church that I recently went to, and I went there this last Sunday, and I went to service, checked it out, wanted to see if maybe it'd be a good home for me, take it from there. Well, everything seemed to be fine. I felt as though I was very welcomed by a lot of people there. I felt as though things were going fine, and everything was going to start rolling on its course. So afterwards, I talked to the pastor because I need to talk to him anyway. That's why I go there. And him and I sit down, and we have I would imagine, a pretty nice conversation. Well, afterwards, I introduced myself to the clergy of that church. And we went out to lunch, and we went to a restaurant that was very nice. They paid for my dinner, which I still thank them for to this day. And, I was telling them about some things that I was dealing with and I was working with right now. They were more than happy to help me. They had no problem on letting me use their phone, call this place or call that place or call this agency or call that agency to get some assistance or get some help, or etc., things like that. And everything was fine. Everything was great. They were more than pleasant. I was pleasant with them, and I got some phone numbers and I was able to call and set some things up. Well, everything seemed to be fine. Then I go to this, what they call an Oasis meeting on Tuesday nights at that same church, and I just want to check it out and see what it is and take it from there. Well, apparently I go there, and I'm in my Sunday best, very nice, professional looking, things like that. And the gentleman that I became familiar with Sunday saw me, and he was asking, how did you get here? What happened? Why were you, how did you get here? What happened? And I told him, I said, well, obviously with my car. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that you had a car. And I'm like, yeah, I have a car, but why would he think I would not have a car when I was there before Sunday, prior to Tuesday, and I drove down there by myself in my car to go to the service, go to the mass, go to talk to the pastor there. So that kind of confused me a little bit, and I didn't know really what was going on. So then today, I get a phone call from their social services director there, and she had given me a very disturbing phone call while I was busy doing things during the daytime. And she told me, she said that I was only to talk to her for services, and that the clergy did not appreciate what I did, what I asked for, and things like that. And I told her, I said, I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't know what you're talking about. Everything seemed to be fine on my level. And because that's what a church is for. It's there to help, assist, and have funding there for a person that is in need of clothes, food, um, possibly shelter, e- and etc. More, etc. And so she gave me a disturbing phone call and said that I, the clergy complained to her about me asking for help, asking for assistance, and things like that. And I told her, I said, yeah, I thought everything was fine. And I actually talked to some of the clergy, and they said that, they were okay with me asking. They didn't have a problem. But obviously, apparently, some of them they did have a problem. And they didn't like the fact that, I asked or whatever. And then, of course, Tuesday night going to the Oasis group, they complained that I got there with my car, and obviously they must have thought I was, saying I was using them, abusing them, or whatever, just to get a free ride out of whatever. And so after that disturbing phone call, and after her telling me, well, this is not going to be tolerated, but you're more than willing to come back, but you're going to have to, take care of your own business, and we're not going to help you. Well, I immediately found that out to be discriminatory towards me, because why would I ask if I already had the assistance or the sources to get what I needed to get done? Because I recently just moved here to Indianapolis from another city in the state of Indiana. And so again, going back to what I said, I found it to be very discriminatory. I found it to be very discriminating towards me, towards what I was asking for, and things like that. And like I said, it was a very disturbing phone call. She did not need to call me at all. What was said, what was done, should have been the end of it. No more phone calls, no more harassing me, things like that. And yeah, that does obviously bother me. And again, discrimination is very, very bad, especially in this generation or in this day and age, because so many people discriminate on everything. And with what my story to you, I hope it helps. I hope it shows that a discriminatory is not tolerable, and that people really need to start buckling down, and they need to start fighting for their rights. And they need to search, and they need to have a lot of knowledge of what their um, they need to have a lot of knowledge on what their rights are, because a lot of people have been discriminated against because of them not knowing their rights. And I feel as though by telling you all, know your rights, have knowledge of them, have a copy, with you all the time, in your wallet, in your pocket, wherever. So that way you know what the constitutional rights are, you know what your rights are as an individual, and things like that. So that way, if things like this happen to you, like my story, then by law you can sue that particular person or whatever, and get some sort of a um, whatever they call it, an award, or some sort of a um, can't think of it. Some whatever from the courts. Like if you sue them for discrimination, you'll get awarded money because of what they did wrong and things like that. And I know that a lot of people in this day and age also are very, very naive, and they don't know a lot of what's going on. However, if you would stop the naiveness, and if you would start learning more, and turn off your TVs so that way people don't have to go brain dead, then this world will be a lot more knowledgeable, and there wouldn't be so much activity that's bad, negative, things like that. And I want to go ahead and share another thing as well. As while I was talking with one of the clergymen there from that church on the telephone, she did tell me that apparently prior to me coming, there was somebody there that was given a Walmart gift card from that same church as I went to. And apparently that person went back with the Walmart card to that church and started cussing, demanding things, and etc. And so apparently, since the pastor there, the main head pastor there, is a skinny gentleman, very skinny, he finds people that are big or fat or bigger than him to be very scary. And so he's quick to defend himself because he's a skinny guy. Well, again, that's discriminatory because it doesn't matter if you're big, you're small, fat, skinny, whatever. You still have the same feelings, you still have the same emotions, and everybody needs to treat each other with respect. That's just what it is. And that's where a lot of people get aggravated so quickly and so easily because they feel as though they've been discriminated against of their what they look like, if they're big, small, whatever. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous discriminating on someone who is a different size than you are. And again, to me, it just doesn't make any sense at all. At all. Um, I do know that life does need to be better. And I do know that things need to be more brushed up and take it from there. Enough with the discriminating, enough with this, enough with that. Because people are going to be who they want to be, and people are going to do what they want to do regardless. So you might as well just let it go, stop trying to control, and stop discriminating. Because people are people. Who they are and who they want to be and what they want to do is just that. So again, stop discriminating and start living your life as if it was your last. Take it from there. I'd like to go ahead and end tonight with a prayer. So if you would please bow your heads with me, I would appreciate it. Dear Lord, we ask that you please watch over each and every one of us. Ask that the discriminatory issues will be met and thrown out. Ask that people will now have a better life and a better place in peace with themselves, so that way there is no more discriminatory around. I ask this in your holy precious name. Amen. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm getting a little tired, and I wish you all very well, and I hope you continue to listen to my sermons. Thank you very much, and God bless.